A very good afternoon and welcome to all of you to our second talk of a series of 8 talks organized by IMM Health Hub and My Aging UST Putra, Malaysia. All right, my name is Chia. I'm from the Third Age Media Association, Kuala Lumpur, Selangor. So briefly, just about a little bit about our association. We started in 2016. And our main idea of this association is to promote healthy and active aging. This is exactly what is the talk all about today, about retirement. Why, what to do upon retirement, what is important. But before that, please check out our website, to know more about our association. That is www.thirdagemedia.org. All right, you can check us out there to know more about us. Now, firstly, before I go into introducing the speakers, today's talk is actually about called Reframe Negative Mindset on Aging, Revisit the Meaning of Retirement. Now, many of you today, may have retired or going to retire. So you may ask yourself whether you are prepared for it. Okay, to me, there are two important things you must have before you can retire peacefully and comfortably. All right. Number one, you must have enough savings. All right. Number two, you must have good health. All right. So if without these two, then you will find that retirement may take away a lot of your joy. All right. So, in fact, recently, just 2 days ago, there was a report by EPF saying that only 27% of people aged 55 have a basic savings of 240,000. Now, that is to say, roughly 1,000 ringgit per month over a period of 20 years. Assuming your lifespan is 20 years after retirement, you will have another years of 20 years. So for guys will be up to about 75, all right, assuming from 55, all right, to 75. For ladies, maybe longer, all right. So just imagine with 1,000 ringgit, can you survive, okay, that period of time, especially living in a city, where cost of living is very high. And I dread to think if you factor in inflation, your 1,000 ringgit per month may only be worth at a time in 15 years' time, may be worth only 400 ringgit or 500 ringgit. So it's really very scary, to think about retirement without enough savings. All right. So number two is health. I told you that if you don't have good health, all your savings will go to paying medical bills. All right, paying to the doctors and also to the hospitals. And it can just disappear overnight because if you talk about treatment in a private hospital, let's say, for example, you had cancer, you may lose a few 100,000 within just 1-2 weeks, or less. So it's very scary, the scenario. But I don't want to be negative about retirement, but you must think about all this. So that's why savings must start from the early age. All right. So the word retirement actually have some negative connotation to some people. The transition of from the working life to retirement can be quite challenging and stressful to some people. They may all of a sudden find themselves with a lot of excess time and they do not know what to do with it. All right. So planning for your retirement is important. Whereas to some other people, they may find it a joy as they can now have the time and money to eat, travel, and do the things they enjoy. All right. But your circle of friends will start to grow small after retirement. All right. So you need to build up a new network of friends. All right. It's very important that share your common interests. All right. So the question is, are you prepared to retire? All right. So that's the question we are going to answer today. So we have two distinguished speakers, all right, to address these issues. and to give us some fresh thoughts and insights into the meaning of retirement. All right, so the first person or the first speaker, all right, to talk about this issue on retirement is Puan Zarina Merican. Can the host give some background to Puan Zarina? Yeah, thank you. So Puan Zarina is a retired civil servant, all right, working, I think, about 35 years, all right, with the civil service. And she graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Agriculture and a Master's in Development Administration from Western Michigan University, USA. And she has, experience in international industry, environment, and natural resources, as well as agriculture. She worked as a development and budget planner. All right. So it's good to hear from a perspective of a retiree. I think she just retired a few years ago only. So let me pass the floor to Puan Zarina. But before I do that, just some housekeeping rules. All right. Now, each speaker will be given about 15 minutes to talk, followed by Q&A towards the end. All right. And the audience can post your questions at the comment box here. All right. Then we'll try to answer as many questions as possible towards the end. All right. So thank you. So let me pass the floor to Puan Zarina.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Moderator, Mr. Chair. My name is Zarina. As Mr. Chair have explained just now, thank you for the introduction. So I don't have to introduce myself again. Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to everybody watching this program. This is my first time doing this online sharing, But first of all, I like to express my appreciation and gratitude to Dr. Jillian from IMM Care Hub for inviting me as one of the speakers, and also for agreeing to this topic. I feel this topic is very important, for everybody, because one day everybody will retire. Also, we need to change our mindset about retiring and also about aging. Because I see some people, when they say retire, they really retire from life, not from work. Because we retire only from our work. So we have more. We can do a lot more after our retirement. And also not forgetting my aging faculty, UPM, and also my colleague at U3A, Kuala Lumpur and Selangor. I'm a member of the U3A. After my retirement, I joined all the courses at this U3A program. Before I start, I need to say this. I'm not an expert in aging, but what I'm going to say is merely my experience, my thought, and also my observations. It's nothing to do with any organization. I retired on 9 May 2018 on the day of the PRU. This is the day my life changed, and also Malaysia changed on the 9 May of 2018. So actually, although I don't know what to expect from retirement, because I was busy until the last day of my job, but I was looking forward to retire because after 35 years in service, I felt very tired, having to face similar issues and answering to bosses, tired of being judged, tired of being evaluated. Then I was looking forward. I'm a person who is always have a positive thinking. So I thought when I retire, I want to do a lot of things. I want to, first of all, I want to travel, and I want to join NGO, join courses, join whatever that can keep me going. make friends. However, due to COVID, I really retired for totally retired because there was no activity at the U3A, and I only do online, and there wasn't any online classes during that time in 2020 for 1 year. There wasn't anything, but I joined my Quran classes. But COVID does bring new things, you know. But before joining the U3A, I was looking for association that I want to join that will give me a positive vibe. I was looking at this Persatuan Warga Mas, but it doesn't appeal to me because all the name reminding me to feel old and to feel helpless. Luckily, I met my friend who joined the U3A earlier. So the name itself, like University of Third Age, does appeal to me. So it doesn't it have some positive vibe because I don't feel old, you know, when I retire. Because some people when they retire, they really retire from life. They really change. Some of my friends, they really change. So I don't want to fall into that category. So I was looking somewhere that can provide me or give me some positive vibe, you know, to continue to feel young, to feel hopeful for something in future. So finally I got into this U3A and I saw a lot of courses, interesting courses. So when I joined, I took 9 classes. I was so enthusiastic in the first place, but I couldn't make it. So I couldn't make it. I didn't. I just joined some of the classes only, you know. But joining the classes is not cheap. You have to pay, you know. So that's why at the end of my talk, I think I would suggest that for seniors, there should be some cost consideration in courses, you know, so that more people can join. And another thing, during these COVID times, I learned a lot. You know, before this, I wasn't actually into my computer, you know, but after that, I learned my Zooming, I learned Google Meet, I learned all these things I learned during the COVID time. So COVID does have a lot of opportunity actually for the senior. The seniors now, they can learn through the online classes, then do business, a lot of things they can do. They don't have to go out anywhere because and another thing, the 3 things that I will talk, actually first thing I will talk about my experience, and the second thing I will talk about takeaway for the young, what they should prepare before they retire, and also my recommendation, you know. Because of this, I just like to mention my friends. Some of us also do feel that 60 for the definition of this Vargamas at 60. Many are not very happy because they are still very energetic and very hopeful. You know, when Vargamas when they call you Vargamas, they have some stigma in it. You know, so my friends, they form a group. They form what I call a club. They call it Evergreen. They never, it's for the retired ladies, but we never use this wagamas to show that you are old. We use Evergreen, you know, to make it sound more positive, more positive vibe, and more you can get more people to join. So I think for future, people should think about the name that they give. You know, you do have to show that you are old, and you don't have to segregate. You know, to compartmentalize people with age. So that's one of my thing that I want to say. And also during my retirement, I was really a bit disappointed. You know. Because usually people say, now age is just a number. But this number becomes something that hinder you, you know, because when you want to do something, they will always ask for your IC, your identity card, to show that, to show your age. I had this experience, you know, when I drove all the way to Terengganu. And when I reached the Terengganu, we want to go up this tower, this bridge, the new bridge. I wasn't allowed to go up. They said it's 60 above, you cannot go up. I can drive and can do everything, but I cannot go up the tower. But it's an irony because before that I've been traveling around the world. I can go everywhere, but suddenly go to Terengganu, you cannot go up to the tower, to the bridge tower. So because when I asked why, they said because of COVID. I don't think COVID just for the 60, you worry about for the 60 people with the age of 60. I think the people who are 40 and above are also easily got sick. If you see now the cases of diabetes, the cases of heart attack, cases of high blood pressure happen within this age group, 40 to 50. So you shouldn't be, you have this stigma that when you are 60 and above, you are deemed or you are doomed to sick, to fall sick. So that kind of mentality need to be changed. So that's one of the negative one. And another thing, a few days ago, I went to this food court, they put a big sign there. They wrote there, warga emas, kanak-kanak and OKU tidak dibenarkan makan di sini, hanya take away. So, my God, I said 60 and above, warga emas, what is actually warga emas? I mean, what's the definition? So, what I know is 60 and above. So, are we in the same category? We are same standard as this kanak-kanak and OKU, When you are 60, you become like them. So, that's the thing that somebody has to think about, So, okay, this is the thing I just share my experience. So, I feel so disappointed, how could they put us into that kind of category? Because those retirees who are still, we just retired, you just see, before this, retirement was at 55. During that time, you see everybody looks so old already. But when they extended to 60, people can still work and they look young. So for me, my observation, so you like slow down the aging, Aging is cost to the individual and also cost to the government. So if you do it properly, you can reduce the cost, just by proper defining of these people, retirees. Retirees are not empty shell. They are like a USB. It's a full USB. They have a lot of experience and also expertise. So you cannot just, after retirement, you set them aside, So there must be a kind of program that make use of them, their knowledge, share their tax knowledge. Yeah? And I go to the second one because every time in life you have to plan. Maybe because I'm planner, I always plan. So for the takeaways for the young, I think they should start planning their retirement once they got into the job. Because I see this, because a lot of people that I met, when you tell them, they say, I'm still young, I'm busy, I don't have the time to think about it. It's still a long time ago. Mind you, time really flies. It flies very fast. I myself also, I never thought I already reached 60. That's why I always feel young because I never thought I'm already 60. So I suggest to the young, you better plan early because I had my father, he is very far-sighted. He got me into signing insurance. Once I got into job, a few months after that, he got an agent to come and sign for insurance. So I think for financial freedom, I'm not an insurance promoter or something, but you need to invest in insurance because it's happened to me. So when I invested in insurance, when I reached 55, I got one insurance. I didn't realize I got the money, And after that, I keep on adding and adding. When I reach 60, I got another one. And now, when I retire, I invest in before I retire, but 10 years before, I invest in insurance investment. So now, yearly, I got income, like 2,000 something, which is quite enough for you to renew your car license or something, to renew your road tax and insurance. So you have to plan early. Go into insurance, then also into you must invest in your health, don't be stingy. You invest in health, you go gym and you plan from beginning, not until you retire then only you go into this thing. And also invest in unit trust, unit trust for Muslim, they will invest in tabung haji, do it. I don't know, because being a baby boomer, we are very patient and we sacrifice a lot, we don't actually when I started working, I don't buy car, for 10 years, because I have to take care of my sibling. So I use the public transport. But during that time, there wasn't many public transport. Now they have so many, they're still complaining. So another thing I want to suggest is invest in friendship, networking. That's very important. And join alumni, NGO, make friends. But you must make friends with different groups, age group. Don't depend on your own friends only, the same age group. When they retire, these people, some of them will become very boring, They really change. So I suggest you to have a very different age group of friends, so that when you retire, you still have friends in the office, and you still have friends to do different things, because some of my friends, when they retire, they set aside all the things that they do before. Some of them, they just talk about death, preparation for death. They don't discuss about music anymore. They only talk when you talk about politics. They will say, "Oh no, this one fitnah. You cannot say this. You cannot say that." So it's all become boring. No more intellectual discussion. So they really don't want to get involved into with the current situation, with the politics. Everybody are becoming like pious, too pious. Actually, you must invest in religion, your knowledge about religion since you're small. Since you're young, you continue doing it. You collect your deed. You collect your pahala. Do it all along the way. At the end, don't cram everything at the end. What I see a lot of people, when they're young, they forgot about everything. They set aside at the end. You don't know what going to happen at the end, whether you will live, until the end. So enjoy your life while you are still, do everything during your young age until you retire. So that's my advice to the young, and
Zarina,
also
you got 2 more minutes, huh? Sorry, 2 more
okay,
minutes, Zarina.
okay, no problem. Then about invest and then also plan your leave. Go travel. Nowadays it's very cheap to travel. Open your mind. And my suggestion to the authority, to individual is, I want to see this quote. Yeah, some people are old at 18, some are young at 90. Time is a concept that human created. So please don't let anybody lower your spirit, don't let them uh, you know uh, make you sad, be positive. You do what you like. You organize yourself. You know how healthy you are, you do it. And also would like to suggest, redefine the meaning of wargamas, please. We need to redefine, revisit this meaning. Don't segmentalize people by age. Yeah? And I would like to reduce this or remove this stereotype about image of senior citizen. About the poster, when you see the poster, it's always about old people so sickly, on the wheelchair, on the holding the cane, as though all these senior citizens are like that. It's not true. So please change that kind of image. Don't use that kind of posters, and also treat senior citizen, especially at the rumah kenangan, old folk home, with dignity. All these people, they have a very colorful history behind them. They are not lucky that they don't have money, or maybe don't have family. They have to stay in rumah kenangan. But I've been visited some of the rumah kenangan, during my working days. I feel so sad, we should respect them with dignity. And also, I like to suggest another thing, redefine meaning of retirement. This is the don't feel old when you are 60. You are just retired. New life just began. So you begin your new life. And also, I like to suggest, now COVID-19 has brought you a new opportunity for the senior, you know. This online business, online class, online, all this online thing is very good. It's very suitable to the seniors. So NGOs must teach them how to use computers and provide subsidies to this senior citizen to buy cheaper computers. And also, it is now time to take more inclusive approach. All this while we'll always have like association for women, association for the seniors. You separate the family. You have to think this problem as a family unit, you know, get everybody included. So if you see nowadays, more and more children will send their mothers to away, you know, to the old folks house, or living somewhere, you know. There are so many cases because the children don't understand the parents. Also, you stay in one house, you don't understand each other. You don't understand your husband, your wife, your mother. You know, the children don't feel the warmth of the family, so they don't mind sending their mothers away. You know, so I think now you should think more of a inclusive family unit, just like what the PM is saying about keluarga Malaysia. So maybe we can think about keluarga kita, you know, more of keluarga kita. So it's a family unit. Don't segmentize, don't segregate. Like even like women, they segregate a women association. So the husband never get involved. And the husband always feel that the man is always feel that they're strong. They don't need anything. They don't need association. So these men are the household, are the leader of the household. You know, so the men should get involved. They should be leading it. You know, so I think maybe in future all this need to be revisit. You know, that's the title, to reframe the mindset for the aging and also for retirement. Okay, thank you. I think I'm
Thank you
using
so
that.
much. Very good, very good. Thank you so much, Puan Zarina. I think you have a lot of wise words just now. You know, I mean, how advise people to start savings from the beginning. You know, from young. Not only when they about to retire, then only they start thinking about or planning about savings. Because it's true, especially now a lot of young people going into the gig economy, where they go into e-commerce and all those. They don't have EPF, they don't have savings.
Yes.
So it's very dangerous, especially those also in the informal sector.
Yeah.
They don't have formal savings. I mean, private or public sector. So
Even
saving is
Mr. Chia,
yeah.
even in the public service, even though they get pension, but it's very little for the supporting staff. It's very little. It's not enough, you know.
Yeah.
And actually, for us public servants, we feel very sensitive when people talk about pension. They thought we get pension freely, you know. Actually, it's from our hard work of 35 years that they collected and they put it in the KWAP. We call it, ours is KWAP.
Yeah.
So it's not free money, but the public always say, the government, the civil service get free money, pension money. It's not free.
Right.
It's from our hard work, you know. And also we have very sensitive when the government say pension is bebanan, you know, bebanan untuk negara. Actually, the bebanan is from everything else. It's not the pension alone. It's not many people.
Yep. Okay, thank you. Yeah, because we're running out of time.
Okay.
I got to go to the second speaker now. The second speaker is Prof. Dr. Shahrul Bahyah, a consultant geriatrician from University Malaya Medical Center and also University Malaya Specialist Center, or UMSC. Prof. Shahrul has a long credential. She is Deputy Dean for the Faculty of Medicine at UST Malaya. She's also the chair of the National Postgraduate Medical Curriculum, advisor to IMM Healthcare, Deputy President for the Gerontology Association Malaysia, and was also recently elected as the President for the Malaysia Healthy Aging Society. So she's actually well known in the aging, industry. So before I hand the floor, all right. Okay. So let me just hand the floor to Prof. Shahrul. Prof. Shahrul, thanks.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Zarina, for that very enlightening talk. And I certainly agree with you that we need to do a lot of things before I retire. And we have the timeline to do that. So thank you, Mr. Chair, for that very kind introduction, and to IMM Healthcare for the very kind invitation. I'm very pleased to see meet all of you. I'm sorry I can't see you, but I hope we can interact later with questions. Could I just ask the Secretariat to share my slides? Thank you. I've been asked to speak about reframing negative mindset on aging. So I'd like to just get all of you to recall every Deepavali, every Hari Raya or Chinese New Year, do you like to see the Petronas advertisements?
Yes.
And if you do, how do they portray the older person?
Very sickly.
Would you say that it was negative or positive? Does it give you or inspire you towards healthy aging? Just think about that, and you can answer that later on. But if I go on to my first slide. So negative mindset on aging literally means having a negative age stereotype. And I feel that that is a lot more within our Asian society, where it's portrayed or marketed as more often than not, maybe not so much now, but prior to this, because of our filial piety, because of our considerations for the older person, we feel that the only way to portray an older person is to conjure up very kasian images, the impoverished, the feeble, the frail, the weak, the ones needing help. But does that actually represent all of us here who are aging? Do you look at any of those adverts or marketing that you see? Does it represent you? Keep that in mind. Negative mindsets are also having disparaging beliefs, attitudes, and behavior related to what's the aging norm. And I've always felt, since I've come home to Malaysia for the past 20 years now, that our norms of aging really needs, as Puan Zarina mentioned, to be reframed, reset, rebranded, in fact. Because what's social norms, like saya dah tua, I'm getting old already, alah, it's old age, I'm getting forgetful, it's old age, are becoming social norms that don't represent healthy or active aging. Cultural norms also. You're 50 years old and you're saying, ayo, I'm getting old already. Tengok sudah ada uban. That's not perhaps positive in inspiring a healthy older age. Even educational norms. Well, is it even being taught in school? Reverence for the elderly used to be part of our civic lessons when I was growing up in primary school. But what is it showing right now? Is it more of, them young and old all being separate and not together? So those are certain concerns that actually give rise or may give rise to a negative mindset on aging. Next slide. So why do we need to reframe? Because some of the evidences, publications, research have actually, and I've summarized it here, when you have a negative mindset as you age, this is associated with lower levels of life satisfaction. You don't attain satisfaction. Your well-being, it affects your well-being. It may also affect your social support and is associated with poor social support maybe. It's also linked to higher rates of physical and cognitive decline. higher levels of going to hospital, admissions, nursing homes, lower threshold to having stress or stress reaction to certain triggers, lower survival rate, hence higher mortality rate. You're more likely to die if you have a negative mindset. Put it plainly. Okay, next slide. So if we think about, and perhaps we'll go on to the next slide. I mean, the future aged will be us. So what's your vision of your aged self? Is it positive? Is it negative? Because what you see, if you see this lady, when she looks at her in the mirror, and in her mind's eye, not what she physically sees, but in her mind's eye, she's still that young, vibrant, energetic, healthy, beautiful young lady that is projected in that mirror. And a lot of us still have that in us because, well, I'm not 49. I'm 29 because that has been my ideal age. Just on the brink of 30, I wish. But I need to aim to actually continue to feel that way. And this perception is indirectly affected by how we feel inside, what we perceive our self-image is. Next slide, please. So, as what we've been trying to say is, the experience of old age differs. It's the time that we're in, it's the population or the cohort that we're in, the culture that we have and what we experience. This shapes the way in which we age and influences all other things. And go on to the next one. So all of us are different, right? So there's no typical older person, and in different societies, different communities, what aging is may differ. But, you know, because we're different, that's why our perceptions, our norms, our social norms, our support, etc., may be different as well. And this impacts on our aging process. Next slide. So, as I said, the experience differs in time. So if you look about, you know, in the 1950s, how it was, what's it like now? Next page. Even how we look, how we engage, what are the, you know, practical, you know, dress behaviors, all that has been guided by certain other sort of, you know, the Islamization of the global world, etc., may also affect changes in dress, changes in dressing. I can remember my mother in the 50s and 60s, wow, the pinggang like that, like Saloma. Now she's, you know, covered, etc. Not a bad thing. And as what Zarina says, everything's about piety towards the end of life. But, you know, but we've changed. It's just to point out that we've changed. Next slide. Our habits have also changed, where it was quite normal to have a Guinness stout is good for you, and across all cultures. In Malaysia, there has been certain changes there, and I'm going to blatantly put it out there because even time has changed us, and culture has been adopted differently. So, but it all also reflects that benchmarks of old age also has changed. Biologically, you know, you have gray hair. Is it because you're a little bit slower than usual? You're no longer having kids? You're more aware that your body no longer moves in the same way? Is it becoming a grandparent or having lost your own parents? Is it, as Zarina said, retirement, losing your independence? Now your children dictate what you do, where you go, how you live, you know? So there's certain benchmarks that have changed for some of us. Go on. So, and with that comes stereotyping. And even in our medical circles, and you can see I'm in clinic right now, so sorry. We have a look at, and we have a lot of old, frail, dependent older people outside, you know. The people are talking about them in terms of being burdensome, rigid, slow, frail. Ageism is, you know, even creeping into, you know, we just had the pandemic. ICU admissions, age, is that a factor? Frailty, is that a factor? How do we actually, you know, speak up for the older frail population when it comes to actually decision making at end of life, at certain critical points in time? So we need more people trained in the people who are actually taking care of your health should not be stereotyped or should not be stereotyping old age. So we need to actually improve our education system here. Being weak, being senile, being forgetful, your GP shouldn't say, alah, makcik dah tua, tak apa. may be thinking, this is dementia. Could it be early signs? What am I going to do about it? So it needs to start from school, from university, our training. All that needs to take into account. So positive stereotyping is being empowered, being resilient, being vital, being independent, defying age, because it's not about your numbers, it's about how biologically you're aging, not how chronologically you're aging. And there's a new term out there called super aging. And we have quite a few examples living amongst us that are actual positive stereotypes. Next slide. So we need to redefine, or rather I like to say rebrand aging, because there's a lot of negative buzzwords. And even in our social circles in the community, even in research publications, we are doing away with the words aged, seniors, elderly. You may not thinking, oh, but so you're very elderly. It's some people do not like to be called elderly, even when they're 70 or 80. My mom gets saying she's just turned 77 on the 1st of October. And she says, oh, auntie, you're quite elderly already. Yeah? She's, what? No. Don't call me elderly. I'm an older person, but I'm not elderly. So even hopefully it's not coming into that perspective. But there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a word, but words actually define or frame your mindset and people's mindset of you. Next slide. So, I wouldn't say actually the new 20, but 80 is the new 60, the new 50 sometimes. Look around us and search and look and reward and try and celebrate and pick up on those older champions in our community. You don't have to look far. You don't have to look far. There are only 2 people here and most of you online. Yeah? So it's we are shifting, but the older person, although seemingly burdensome to the healthcare system, etc., should not be viewed as a burden. There are certain opportunities that should be taken at community level at an earlier age, because aging is not just about older persons, it's about the younger generation who are aging. Innovative solutions need to be taken into account as to how this works. And in Western societies and even in some of our Eastern neighbors, the silver economy is very, very alive and well, and new products, services are meeting the needs. And then IMM Healthcare is one of that's looking to ways in which to try and innovate and help strategize the care in the community and providing that network of support. Next slide. So a super ager is one of those words that have come to define somebody who's over 80, who exhibits good cognitive function comparable to that of an average middle-aged individual. They have not just the mental, but the physical capability of their decades compared to the younger counterparts. Next slide. Like him, loathe him, hate him, love him.
Yes.
This one, ayo, can't shut him down, lah.
Yeah.
He's a super ager, still going strong, still causing trouble. Next slide.
Troublemaker.
Troublemaker, forevermore. And we like him that way because that keeps us thinking and on our toes. So this is his brain. It's always exercising and getting animated and excited and changing. And he even had, words of wisdom about the pandemic. Whatever it is, Tun Mahathir is there to comment. So, we lose him, to whatever. We need to actually ensure that the next generation of super agers are actually as well. Yeah, but he is privileged, mind you. Next slide. So what do they have? They have less evidence. If you did an MRI on him, he's got what we call neuroplasticity. His brains may have shrunk at 94 now, isn't he? But how it works, there may be less evidence of atrophy in certain areas where he's actually enhanced. So lower prevalence of pathological changes associated with Alzheimer's disease. And you know what? He might have had the genetic leg up from his forefathers. where certain genes may be associated with this. So this is under research still. Next slide. Just a few more. So this is for the likes of us mere mortals. What tips you into being unsuccessful in aging? Next slide. And it is between having risk factors and protective factors. And what you do from now that could tip you into being successful. If it's to stop going to the mama and having your teh tarik every day after your morning walk, if it is stopping to light up that cigarette, if it's eating really clean, staying away from processed food, ensuring that your weight is not too low or too high, keeping to grips with your hypertension, diabetes, because diabetes is an accelerated aging type of disease. You find 40, 50-year-olds who are obese and diabetic with metabolic syndrome, they are aging, they're losing their brain cells already, they're starting to have early cognitive impairment. We see that in the society. You see really big, heavy-set, middle-aged young men and women who are not moving, stuck on the computer. I'm guilty of that as well. Who may be losing their brain cells. So you start losing all this, and then you can start getting vascular insults. And what happens to your brain then? So you lose the ability to become a super ager if you don't tip yourself into having more physical activity, better cognitive stimulation, social activity, empowering yourself through knowledge and education. So all of you here are safe because you're actually coming in and trying to sort of stimulate your brain cells and listening and also engaging with us over here. So it actually helps maintain your brain reserve. And believe you me, it is quite, it's not as easy as it sounds, but it actually is quite easy if we really truly are honest with ourselves and actually work at trying to improve ourselves in this way. Next slide. So what can you do to become a super ager? There are 5 simple things that you can start from now. Next slide. Very difficult, I know, in a pandemic, but how many of us have become more couch potatoes watching Netflix? I'm guilty. So, we need to actually be physically active. Look after your heart. Follow a healthy diet. Challenge your brain. Enjoy your social activity, even if it's virtually for now. Because all these things actually reduce the risk of all those risk factors and tip us into more protective factors, brain and physical reserve. Next slide. So cognitive super ager will embrace new mental challenges. This may be the key to preserving your brain tissue or your brain function. Neuroplasticity, meaning because we have 2 lobes of the brain, we are often one side of the brain dominant, and we only use maybe about 20% of that brain. Can you imagine how many trillions of other nerve cells that are left untapped? Because we are just still doing the same old thing, thinking the same old way and not challenging ourselves to actually think bigger, brighter, and actually engaging with other people. Even if it's talking, learning a new language, picking up a new musical instrument, making a new friend, going and engaging with a group. So super agers may share a willingness to endure discomfort to master a new skill, like playing a musical instrument, speak a new language. They also keep moving out of their comfort zones to gain new areas of expertise, gain a new skill. It's never too late. Next stage. Tone City started playing the harmonica we gave her 2 years ago. Physical super ager. So these fellas will have scores that rival those of women or men younger, decades younger. And this is based on aerobic capacity. So there have been studies that look into those who are over 80, and we can open it up to some questions later. So I'll just finish off with the last 2 slides. So reframe your mindset, embrace your mental challenges, increase exercise capacity, but prepare to be frustrated because you need to be patient and persevere in order to master certain challenges. Don't let age be a barrier. Get going with the group. Next slide and last slide. Reframe the mindset of the community. So prove them wrong. Be the example that doesn't define you as being elderly, frail, burdensome, weak, etc. Start giving people images of healthy and active aging. Start them young. We need to educate our younger people. So don't sort of say, "Alah, nenek dah tua." No, There are certain things that nenek can do, bigger, better, brighter, and more than the younger ones. Tackle non-communicable disease like diabetes, hypertension. We cannot. We need to reverse that. And of course, which is why most of us are here for, policy needs to change. The minister needs to stop doing TikTok, do things that are actually more beneficial, and basically look into informing. And this is where we come as a community to inform, and actually, hopefully, we get stakeholders together to actually advise certain ministries, because government needs to know what our issues are, create age-friendly infrastructure, socioeconomic policy, etc., etc. So with that, thank you very much, and apologies if I took time.
Thank you, Prof. Shahrul.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very interesting definitions. New super Ager. I mean, actually, to me, I mean, it's not so much of the definition. It's just that how people perceive us. There is a perception problem here. You can call yourself Wargamas. In fact, Wargamas is a good name because it represents golden age.
Yeah.
And but unfortunately, we are not treated as gold.
Zaman kegemilangan.
Yes, we are treated as bronze or something else, that is worthless metal. So it is a perception problem. And I agree with you that mental, physical is very important. I mean, I see now even in the civil industry, you see people using elderly people. I mean, I would say now younger people. I mean, to do fashion show. And they're earning big bucks, on Facebook and all those.
Yes.
So
Very
they're doing
attractive as well.
The seniors are all very healthy and active now because, in fact, I always say that they are more healthier than the younger people because the younger people spend time on computer and their smartphone. While you see the older people go to the park and do Tai Chi and all those, they are hiking and all those. I myself play basketball. Before the SCO, I broke my little finger. So I still feel that, we young people, I mean, we old, I mean, the retired
You're right,
people,
you're young men.
Yeah.
That wasn't a Freudian slip. You do feel young.
Correct. Differently. I think one thing which I think very important is that we need to take out the senior portfolio or the elderly portfolio from the Ministry of Welfare, Women and Community. Because it's just too many things on the minister's plate. You have the OKU, you have the children, you have the women, So it's just too many, and the needs of seniors cut across so many ministries. You have housing for seniors, transport, education, health, So we need to take it out and put it into a dedicated ministry or at least a department or agency that report directly to the Prime Minister, where action can be taken immediately. Because I hear from a lot of people involved in aging, those associations and all who are in the council actually, and they say that meetings in the ministry, in the women ministry, is only once or twice a year, which is really ridiculous, to me. So we really need to do something drastic. And then because putting seniors under welfare department, it is really a very negative connotation already.
It's also a very narrow view of what aging is.
Very narrow.
Whilst that is a very important part, it's the social welfare, social protection, but it does need a very individual focus and a lot of focus, in fact. But the other aspects also.
Correct. I mean, we should be taking a different view, really, maybe 360-degree change, in the how we perceive seniors. This has to be approached in a very holistic way, And okay, before we go to the Q&A, right? I think the host is going to put up some questions. They have selected some questions for the speakers to answer.
We've got one comment here. How we perceive, interpret, and respond. Mr. Logan Naidu.
Who want to take this up?
Doctor can say.
How do we perceive? So the question is how we perceive, interpret, and respond. Is that the question?
PPIR. What is PIR? Sorry.
Perceive,
Perceive,
interpret, and respond.
respond.
Okay.
So actually, from the perception itself, Mr. Naidu, thank you for that. I don't know whether it's a question or
Mr.
whether you're
Logan.
making a statement, Mr. Loga. I think how we perceive is so important because it allows for interpretation, and it's the response. So if the perception is negative, then it frames the interpretation, and then the response is also negative. So, having a negative mindset affects the interpretation of how life is going to be. So it affects your, well-being, your physical, cognitive impairment, and it even affects things like survival and mortality. So it is really, really important to actually correct the perception and then that's how, because one affects the other, PIR. I hope that answered it.
What are the plans we should have to move forward?
Second question is Mr. Chai Hong Tan Chai Hong, I think. Yeah. What are the plans we should have to move forward for our agenda? All right. This, I think, policy level already. All right. Who want to take this up?
Maybe Dr. Chia can answer. You are the chairman, president of her society.
No, I think let the speaker speak.
If I may, how do we
Yeah.
move forward? Okay,
Yeah.
I think there's various levels. One is at the individual, and then community, and then of course, at the stakeholders and other things. So at an individual, your individual agenda is to actually keep engaged, keep physically, cognitive healthy. And we talked about that. I think that's quite clear. Community level, we mustn't see aging and being old as separate, thinking of actually having just an aging community without making things age-friendly for everybody to be together is very important in a community. We shouldn't actually separate aging and older people away from the bigger community. Therefore, having activities, planned activities, support, networking, events, health literacy should engage the young and old together. So actually bringing it into schools, bringing it into events that we have in our community, bring young and old together, having all these responses, because then it corrects the perception, improves the response and thing. But at policy and stakeholders, we are very fractured. Even the hospital service is very fractured. Tertiary service, where I am, doesn't talk with primary care. There's no transitional care. So we need to actually have a whole reframing and of our healthcare system for one, which then impacts on our social policy, etc. So I think it's important to have what you were starting to suggest, Mr. Chair, was an aging council. A council of aging that actually informs a particular ministry. I don't know what yet, but it depends on the minister and his or her portfolio, and it's actually needing to be brought up as together. So having a coalition, as what we have suggested before, bringing together similar interests and priorities, prioritizing it, and then putting it in a very cohesive and coherent way to the minister or the ministry at large.
Yep.
It's important to start. So there are many levels, but we can all start.
Yep. Very true. I mean, in fact, for the information of the audience, actually the different civil societies, including the private sector and public sector, has started a pro tem committee on aging. All right. So we are actually an intersectorial approach where all this private sector, public sector, and civil society coming together, trying to advocate for the welfare of seniors in general. And one of the agenda we have actually identified is to get the government to really pay attention to the needs of seniors, and the council of this aged, maybe we will have another name for it, so that it won't send out a negative message about the elderly. To have this to be and this to be led by not a politician, but by maybe a social activist, and the reporting should be direct to the Prime Minister, for efficient and more effective actions, because right now it's just too slow and too inadequate. What has been done for the senior citizens in Malaysia. So that is our number one priority. We have been discussing it, and of course there are other priorities. But we feel that the Council for the Aged is a very, very important agenda that we need to push. So we hope that actually in today's talk, we hope to have some people from the ministry listening, and they can hopefully pass the message upwards. But this is a very
There's a nice
interesting
question
topic.
here.
Boleh cadangkan.
There's a question here, Mr. Chia.
Boleh
Okay,
kita
cadangkan lantik seorang senator. I think is what we have said just now lah. Senator to represent senior interests to the parliament. So Shahrul, you're supposed to take this up.
Boleh, cadangkan sahaja.
Your name
Tak
is
payah lantik, they're already there. So many of them already. Actually, the senator or the politician are also warga emas,
Yeah, in fact,
So
most of them are rather mass, but they don't seem to be
I think,
lobbying for us.
Yeah, the thing is, when we bring health or care or healthcare into the realm of politics, things get complicated. So really, we as the community should own our own agenda and actually bring it forth as a people. So a senator that is either a technocrat or whatever healthcare person or whoever that may be, needs to actually be an independent person that could actually speak up and represent the community. So I'm sure we have many. How can I contribute, Mr. Tan? Wonderful question.
You can join the NGOs.
Join us.
I think everyone can play a role. U3A is a good start. I think upon Zarina, you mentioned
excellent start.
Yeah, very, very good start. Where activities, you just pay a nominal sum, I think, right? A nominal
It's
sum.
about 80 ringgit for a course.
Okay. So actually, just now when Prof. Shahrul talked about Tun M, I got a video to show when he came to our conference, the Third Age Media Conference in 2018, when the Pakatan Harapan government took over from Barisan. And he gave a very good message, which I want to play. It's only about a minute, all right, to show it. And it's very interesting on what he said and how to age healthily and actively. So since we already reached 3 o'clock, can we just play it before we go
Okay.
program? So thank you all for your questions. And thank you also the speakers, Prof. Shahrul and Puan Zarina, for your wonderful sharing. All right, so as a closing, let's play this video of the message by Tun M. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Restart.
Thank you for staying with us. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad has urged senior citizens in Malaysia to maintain their physical and mental fitness by actively reading, writing, and even quarrelling. Dr. Mahathir revealed that one of the many ways he continues to stay active at 93 was to continuously come up with ideas in managing the government.
But it is not only the body, the muscle, but also your brain. If you don't use your brain, it tends to regress. And then the ability to think, to talk, to lecture, to speak out, to complain, that will go. Because the brain is no longer functioning. Because you, like the muscle, you don't use it.
He was speaking at the conference on aging, learning and technology, enriching lives, connecting communities at Kuala Lumpur on Saturday. Dr. Mahathir told the 100-strong audience that people age faster if they did not actively use their muscles and brain power. Dr. Mahathir, in jest, said his fallout and clash with the previous Prime Minister has kept his brain active even in his old age.
It is good for old people to read, to write, and also to quarrel, because that exercises your brain. Now, I had a big quarrel with the previous Prime Minister.
Also present was his wife, Dr. Siti Hasma Muhammad Ali, and Third Age Media Association President Chia Tak Wing.
Okay, thank you. But this is not the end. Sorry, the audience, we got something. Yeah, got something on.
Thank you for saying
Yeah,
that.
so yeah, maybe the host can cut off the video. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so what Tun M is saying is true. No, it's not just the physical part.
It's the brain.
The brain, the mental health is very, very important. You know, in fact, there's one more: the spiritual health. No, is also another important aspect that seniors must actually engage in. And of course, we are not encouraging you to go and argue with your husband or your wife, lah. Otherwise, you will get into a big problem and not be able to sleep in the same room. All right. So anyway, let me hand it to the organizer to give the sponsors video, to show the sponsors video. So, Dr. Jillian, can I hand it to you?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Yeah, thank you so much for staying with us. So I think right now we would like to announce the sponsors' special message, because they have got some free gift, yeah, to be given away. So please, can we have the video?
Hi, my name is Joanne, and I'm part of the business development team here at Thoughtful. First of all, I hope you've all been having an insightful session with the speakers and moderator. I think the topic of aging is super interesting. To me, aging is basic. Getting older is getting wiser. And hey, retirement is amazing. You are able to do the things that you didn't get to do when you were younger, like learning a new skill, learning a new hobby, playing with your grandchildren, or going back to nature. All amazing things for your mental health. So coming back to mental health, I'm part of Thoughtful, and we are a digital mental health company and we focus on providing accessible and affordable quality mental health care to all. So for you, our beautiful audience here today, we'd like to extend an offer to you, 20% off our main product offering, which is Thoughtful Chat. So your question, what is Thoughtful Chat? Well, Thoughtful Chat is a subscription-based mobile platform that connects you to mental health professionals, but also you are able to engage with your mental health proactively via learning resources via the app. So how are you going to take advantage of this? Well, please download Thoughtful Chat. Thoughtful, THOUGHT FULLCHAT, either on the Play Store, Google Play Store, or Apple App Store, and start your 14-day free trial. If you're loving it, which most people do, please enter the code after the 14 days, IMM20, IMM20, to take advantage of the 20% off our usual price. Now, this promotion is only for you, my dear audience, as well as it ends on November the 8th. So take advantage of it as soon as possible. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a lovely Friday ahead. Bye.
Okay, so thank you to Dr. Jillian, IMM Care Hub, and also My Aging for organizing this. We hope this will not be the last, especially on retirement, issues on retirement. It's a very interesting thing, and I can see a lot of questions or comments coming in. Unfortunately, because of lacking of time, we have to end the session today. So thank you, audience. Thank you for joining us. We see you next Friday. I think there's another session organized by IMM Care Hub, right? So thank you, everybody, and stay safe and stay healthy. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye, everyone. Thank you very much.
Bye.